Alright, I just finished going up that steep hill behind me. I'm more out of shape than I thought I'd be. It's a Sunday, the 22nd. Played poker the last few days and wanted to just change it up, get out of the poker room, even though those are outdoors, and just come and absorb a little bit of nature. We're at Bedwell Bayfront Park here in Menlo Park, California. It's sort of tucked between San Francisco and San Jose, a bit closer to the San Jose side of things, just before you hit Silicon Valley. And yeah, just wanted to provide a little bit of a change of pace. Been going to a lot of different city spots, and this is a little bit more open and naturey, and just a great spot. A lot of people are riding bikes here, walking around with their significant others, with family, with their dogs. If you're looking for something relaxing to do, check out Bedwell Bayfront Park in Menlo Park. All right, just closing out a 4-hour session. If you caught the previous video, which was from the session that I played yesterday at California Grand, this one's gonna be a little bit more boring. That said, we do have a couple of interesting spots to dive into as always, so let's get into it. In this first hand, we are playing 7-handed. Under the gun raises to $20. Hijack calls. I'm on the button with Beauty and the Beast offsuit, and both Under the Gun and Hijack are playing relatively shallow at only $200 deep. So I think I'm just relegated to playing my hand for its exact value rather than putting in any additional aggression since there aren't stacks to maneuver. So I make the call, and small blind calls as well. We go multi-way to a flop of Jack 6-3 Rainbow. Action checks through. Turn comes a Jack of Spades, pairing the Jack and putting up a backdoor flush draw. Small blind bets $25. Under the gun folds. Hijack calls, and I just get out of the way in this one. This next one is also 7-handed. Under the gun limps. I raise it to $25 from the low jack with pocket aces, and I get 2 callers, the big blind and under the gun. 3 ways to a flop of 10-7-4 with 2 clubs. Checks to me. I c bet it for $50. Big blind calls and under the gun folds. Turn comes a king of clubs, and he checks. We're playing pretty deep here at around $700 effective. I opt for a bet of $120. I think I can still get some value against 10x holdings that contain a club. And it's not the worst thing in the world if he folds a hand like 8-9 red, which still has some okay equity in this spot. He ends up putting in the check raise to $300, and my plan was to bet fold against this particular opponent who plays his hands fairly straight up. So I decided to let it go, and he was kind enough to show me his hand, which was 7-8 of clubs. So flop middle pair, turn the flush, and takes this one down. Once again, 7-handed. Under the gun limps. I make a relatively light open from the low jack to $25 with Jack 10 off suit. And I get 2 callers, a big blind and under the gun. 3 ways to a flop of Jack 6-3 with 2 spades. Action checks to me. I bet $45. Big blind calls and under the gun folds. Turn comes a relative blank deuce of diamonds. It does complete 4-5. He checks. I continue betting, this time for $100, targeting inferior jacks such as Jack 8 suited and Jack 9 suited. Big blind makes the call. We go to a river of a 3 of spades, so completes the front door flush, also pairs the board. When he checks, I just take my showdown value and check it back. He tables pocket 4s, so I take this one down. This next one is 5-handed. I'm first to act, and I raise it to $20 with King Queen off suit, and 3 of the 4 players call as big blind folds. 4 ways to a flop of 5-4-3 with 2 clubs. Action checks through. Turn comes an 8 of diamonds. Action checks through again. River comes an ace of clubs, and this time small blind bets $35 with a little over $100 back. I do have the nut flush blocker, but I just don't think he's going to be folding for that stack size, so I fold. Cutoff and button end up calling. Small blind tables 3-6 of clubs for a monster flop that gets there on the river, so he takes this one down. We are playing 5-handed in this next one, and it's a straddle pot. Small blind completes. I'm in the big blind with King Jack of diamonds, and I raise it to $40. Straddler and small blind call. 3 ways to a flop of Queen 3 deuce with 2 hearts. Small blind checks, and I bet $80. Can debate sizing a bit and go a bit smaller, but just looking to take this down here as I have a good hand to do it with, since King Jack wraps around the queen, which in this case means that it's going to be less likely that any of the other 2 players have a queen in their hand, since I block King Queen and Jack Queen. And luckily, I don't face any resistance as both players fold. These next 3 hands take place in succession after one another. In this first one, low jack limps. I raise it to $25 from the cutoff with pocket deuces. and big blind and low jack call. Three ways to a flop of ace 8-5 rainbow. Checks to me. I take a stab at it for $40. Big blind calls. Under the gun folds. Turn comes a 5 of spades, putting a backdoor flusher on the board and pairing the 5. Big blind checks, and he's a pretty sticky player, so I decide to just give up and check it back. River comes a jack of diamonds. He bets $65, and I just let it go. Hand immediately after, under the gun raises to $15. I 3-bet it to $50 from the small blind with king queen offsuit, and everyone folds. Last quick one in this trio of consecutive hands. Under the gun limps, I raise it to $25 with pocket eights from the low jack, and I get calls from the hijack, button, and under the gun. Four ways to a flop of queen jack 3 with 2 clubs. This flop's not me, and there's a bet. I let it go, so just a string of playable hands in a row, but nothing really good to show for it. A couple more hands to run through. I raise it to $20 from the cutoff with queen jack offsuit, and I get calls from the button and the 2 blinds. Four ways to a flop of ace 10-4 with 2 clubs, so I flop range advantage and have a gutter ball. And when the blinds check, I bet $45 and only the button calls. Turn comes a 7 of spades, and it's a good blind to continue repping and applying pressure. I opt for a larger sizing of $150. He gives me credit and open folds ace jack offsuit, so take this one down with some aggression. In this last hand, I raised it to $20 from the button with my favorite hand, 5-6 suited, this time in hearts, small blind folds, and a pretty tight player in the big blind calls, so he should be relatively weighted towards high cards. We go heads up to a flop of queen 10-8, so I completely whiff, and when he bets $20, that's going to be the end of this hand. So that does it for this one. No huge pots, but a couple of interesting spots along the way. Got in the game for $1,100, had to add on a little bit, and cashed out exactly $950. So book a loss of $150. Not much else to say other than thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.